Hello, everyone. Welcome to my new series, Surviving the Houston Halfway House. So, upon my release from FMC Carswell, I arrived at the Lindale Unit, which is a federal halfway house that houses federal inmates downtown Houston, Texas. Upon my arrival, I was screened in. My bags were checked. What little items that I bought were checked, and I was basically told what I could and could not have. And they gave me a 3-day period of whereas my family could come and bring things for me. So when you go to the halfway house, you are allowed to have a cell phone, something that I didn't have that first day. However, my family told me they would be back the next day with a cell phone for me. So once I was checked in and everything, I went through the process of filling out some basic paperwork, taking a picture, which had my photo on it that was issued to me while I was at the halfway house, and taken to my dorm. So the dorm that I was in housed maybe about, I would say, 14 to 15 women. There was another dorm for women there. The federal halfway house in Houston doesn't house more than like 25, 26 females. However, it houses over 200 males. So I'm going to be very honest with you guys. When it was time for me to leave prison, the only thing I cared about was actually leaving there. I didn't do my research into the halfway house. I didn't know what to expect. So imagine me arriving at the halfway house, being checked in with my things, and told to take a seat in the lobby, and it's a lobby full of men. So I'm looking around like, what the hell is going on at this place? Well, apparently the Houston Halfway House is a federal co-ed facility. So it's both men and women. So this halfway house catered to over 200 and almost 30 men and women at the time. Majority being men, over 200. So I'm sitting here in this front lobby waiting to be checked in. And the first thing I'm hearing is, hey, what's up? Can I get your number? And I'm looking straight ahead like I'm deaf. A guy even asked me, ma'am, can you hear? And I didn't say anything because I was like, oh my God. So that was the first major shock for me. The fact that I had been around only a very few men while I was incarcerated, being men that I work with on the base from time to time, and also male officers. But I was so happy and relieved when I seen two familiar faces, two women who had done a little time with me at FMC Carswell, but had just recently left. And so one of them just so happened to be my bunkie. And she took me under her wing immediately. So I was told that the next day I would need to go down and speak to my case manager. They told me what my case manager name was and told me that I would basically fill out a visitation form so that my family could come and do visits with me there, and that she would basically help me put together a resume so that I can go through the process of looking for employment while I was there. And at the time that I arrived at the halfway house, my home confinement date was 6 weeks away. And so for the most part, people were telling me, hey, you need to make sure that you have a phone installed at your house so when that date does come, it'll be easy for you to transition over. But it's also a process for you to go through, be able to go home on home confinement. The process is you need to do a 12-hour furlough, then a 24-hour furlough, and then a 72-hour furlough before you can transition over to home confinement. So I got working on the phone immediately. The next day, my sister showed up. They called me to the front. They handed me the iPhone that my sister bought with the earbuds and the charger, and I was good to go. She already had put everybody's cell phone numbers in the phone and set up everything for me. So I immediately got with my family and say, hey, I need y'all to help me put together a resume. And it was kind of hard for me because I had been incarcerated for over 5 years, and all I had was these prison jobs to back me at this point. And so my sister was like, well, okay, I'm going to do the resume for you. Tell me what jobs you work, because she's like a master in doing resumes. And so I give her this information and she puts together this resume for me. So I'm trying to be ahead of everything at this point. They tell me within a day or two that, hey, in the morning time, somebody's going to come in the dorm. Since you don't have a job, you're responsible for cleaning up around the halfway house. So that was fine with me. I was an orderly while I was incarcerated. I didn't have a problem helping out at the halfway house, because they do want you, once you get a job, to pay them a percentage of your income. So at that point, I wasn't even worried about it. I was only worried about the major things that I need to do, because I had a plan in place when I came home. And the plan was for me to get a job, get me my own place, and also be able to get my family back together again. So at this point at the halfway house, they do an orientation. And here I am again. the only female sitting in a room of about 20 guys. And the whole time it's like everybody's looking at me like I'm some kind of hamburger or a sandwich. And I just feel so uncomfortable. And I can tell one of the instructors feels so bad for me. She asked me to come sit by her. And I was so relieved because I didn't want to be surrounded around all these guys. So I go through the orientation and they give us all these papers. And so I tell you, if you go to the halfway house, please read the print. Make sure you understand the rules at the halfway house. And I'm not a rule breaker, but there are things